Hi there, my name's Lucy from Nutt Sewing Machines, and today we're going to give you a run through on the Bernina Q series models, specifically the Aluminium Pro Frames and with the Q24 on there. So this is obviously trying to get all of it in. The model we've actually got on show here today is the Classic size, and so this is the Classic frame that can do up to 9 foot width of quilting. You've also got the small frame which goes up to 5'10", and then the large frame which gives you 10 foot of quilting. So as you can see, it's a really solidly built thing, and it does have to be professionally installed, but we do have another video that's got all the information on that. You've got the kind of supports and all the leaders, all that come with it. There are additional accessories available, such as ones with zips on and all sorts. So you've got your upper leader here, and then the batting roll holder and everything down here. It's all done on like a ratchet system, so it's really easy to release and then also tighten up to get it perfectly taut, well, not too taut as we know. The Q24 that we have on here at the moment is, as the name suggests, is 24 inches from the needle to the back of the machine. And so that's giving you quite a deep quilt depth on here that we can actually do all in one go. So many lovely features on here that make it totally personalised to you, and other things you can purchase as well as additions to further give a better precision to your work. The amazing thing obviously about the BSR and everything, the Berninas, is the BSR, the Bernina Stitch Regulator, and on here we've actually got 2 of those down there. You can also see that we've got some handles on the back of this particular model, and that is the pantograph. And with that one, this particular one, it is an addition on there, so do let us know if you were interested in that, and we do have actually got a pantograph down there. We're just going to take a look at the threading as well quickly, and then we'll talk about some of the other features around kind of how the machine's used. So just going to show you how that goes. So the thread stand obviously included there. We've got the bobbin winding one that you can use independently down the side here, but we'll just go through this main threading at the moment. Clips into this section, and then depending on what kind of thread you've got, whether you do use the kind of additional, that can actually have a silicone fluid put in there to smooth out any kind of fancy or metallic threads. But with this particular thread, I'm going to go straight down to the guide down here and then bring it across the machine to the other side. And then we just follow it down into the guide underneath here. I'm just going to open the door to get to the take-up lever. So this is very similar, obviously, in orientation, well, different in orientation, but the same kind of thing as on a standard sewing machine. Through that, threaded through and down underneath this guide, and then into the guide above the needles. I'll just close that up. And so now I've got the needle threader as well, so there's a guide right at the top of the needle there, and then underneath the needle threader, and this is the same one that's on all the other Bernina models actually. Fully engage that, push it all the way down. You'll feel it click into position, and then the thread will make a loop out the back. I'll just gently pull that through. And then we'll take a look at the bobbin threading as well. If I bring that out here, we can see what's inside. So it's an industrial bobbin system on here, and it can take an awful lot of work. It's a large capacity bobbin too, so we've got a fresh one here ready to go. So nice red Bernina one. So to thread the bobbin up, we do have a separate spool for that, which is really handy on the thread stand. So I'm going to place the Bernina logo facing towards the machine, and we'll just put my case up there, just get the end of the thread. So going through these 2 guides, and then underneath and back around on the tensioner, and then there is an arrow to show us which way round we need to go around the bobbin. So I'm just going to wind it round a few times to get it started, and then there is a little trimmer at the top there, and we're off. There is a speed control that you can also set on the front of the machine too, if you do want it to go particularly fast. Depending on the kind of thread you're winding on, will depend on how quickly you can have that going. And it'll automatically ping off when it's full. There we go. And there's a little trimmer there, so we can just leave that in place. It should feel nice and solid, not like full of air or gappy or anything. It's nice and tightly bound. And then we're going to place that with the Bernina logo facing out into the bobbin case, because this needs to be spinning clockwise. Put the thread through the slit into the little guide there, and we've got that spinning. That can then go back into the front of the machine, and we'll hear it click. And the little trimmer there too. We can then also see the two BSRs that are down here that are working to regulate our stitch length. And because there's two of them, it means it's even more precise and can go super quick as well. Close that up. So I'll just give this a little run. Just bring this to a fresh piece here. So I'll just bring up the the bobbin thread using the needle up and down. There it is. And then you can tie these ends in however you wish. I'm just going to do a little stitch on the spot using because on these hand controls here we have, you can personalise them to whatever you want them to be. So when we've got foot up and foot down on this side here, so we can raise and lower it using that button. Needle up and down, also there as well. And then on the right hand side we've got the start and stop and the needle up and down again. And these functions can all change. So if you go into those, you can actually personalise exactly which button does what task, which is great. So if we were actually to start, I'm going to keep the factory settings really, just as for this purpose as a demonstration. We've got stitches per inch at the top, so this is going to regulate it to 10 stitches per inch, and the RPM is currently set at 250. So I'm going to press go, which is our double dash on the right hand system there. I'll just stop that there and just release my thread. There we are. Right, so we'll see when I go slow, the actual needle is also slowing down. And then when we increase in speed, the needle increases. But that is regulating our stitch all the way. Might have to come and see for yourself. I don't know how well that colour's showing up actually on here, but it's giving a beautiful smooth stitch. Just talk you through some of the BSR modes as well. There is actually 4 modes on this particular model. We've got BSR 1, 2, 3 and a manual setting as well. So if you do want to disengage the BSR to do something far more creative, something that's more inside your head, then you do have the manual mode. And you can set your RPM there and it will go at just that speed. And then you will get variation in your stitches. BSR 3 is a basting mode, so this is stitches per inch obviously still, but obviously a much lower number, so we're getting a lovely basting function. So if we go to 2 stitches per inch and I press go here, I'll just stop that one there, and basting obviously so easy on here. And then BSR 2, which is one we haven't looked at yet. So this is the mode where it actually stops with the needle in the air if you do actually stop within your flow. So I'll show you how that one works if we press go on there. So if we move the machine, obviously we've got that regulation, but then if I hold the machine still, it will wait until I next move off before it starts your stitching again. And then when it's very sensitive though, so it will start stitching even with the very slightest movement. And then we'll stop that one there too. And then back on BSR 1 at the top here, which is where we've got the regulation, and this one actually stops by doing it, it actually stitches on the spot instead. So we have the same movement in terms of the BSR regulation as BSR 2, but then it stitches on the spot. So it's like an automatic tie off at the end. So if you do stop, it will keep stitching on the spot, and you just need to be mindful of that really. We have to move, just moved one of the handles out of the way for the purposes of filming, but I just want to show you how easy those are to actually move around. There's so many different orientations on these. So it's a case of kind of unscrewing. You can bring them lower, bring them higher. You can then just tightening them up. Ooh, tighten it up even, not undo it. And then bring that ratchet down. This can also be moved right out the way like we've got that one done up there. Because there are other different types of handles that can be added on as well. Palm precision handles are a particularly handy a popular accessory. We've also got on here at the moment the laser pointer, which is giving us that LED light as well down there. That is also an optional accessory, and that's what this additional little bit is on the screen there. So obviously we've got this home button as well at the bottom of the screen here, which does give us some more information about the settings of the machine, where we can try. There's loads of different settings to actually have a play with, but if we go back to the main ones, we've got an onboard manual as well, which gives really good information about how the different BSR modes work and why that they are as they are. So that's interesting if you'd like to know more information about those. And then troubleshooting, feet, all that kind of thing. And if I just press the home button again there, we've also got a little onboard calculator, which is literally just a calculator, and also a trip counter. So in this one here, we can reset it to when you're starting a new project, basically, so you know exactly how many stitches you have been doing on a particular quilt. If you press home, it just takes you back to that stitching screen. So another point about needles and feet on these models is brilliantly you can actually use standard needles. They do take that kind of fitting. We do recommend the Bernina Pro needles, and they come in various sizes as well, but that's definitely what we recommend for the high-speed quilting machines. The feet, it's brilliant. So all Bernina feet, actually free motion feet, actually fit onto these models. They are supplied with a standard foot number 9, and then you can any ones you already have in your stash, or ones will go onto domestic machines as well. So that's a really good range. You've got gliding cup feet, you've got ruler feet. There is obviously ruler base available as well for this to enable you to use rulers. We've got so many different types. So couching inserts, echo quilting clips. There is a really lovely range of items available. So yeah, the Q24 on the Pro Aluminium frame is definitely top of the range. So obviously we've got this home button as well at the bottom of the screen here, which does give us some more information about the settings of the machine, where we can try. There's loads of different settings to actually have a play with, but if we go back to the main ones, we've got an onboard manual as well, which gives really good information about how the different BSR modes work and why that they are as they are. So that's interesting if you'd like to know more information about those. And then troubleshooting, feet, all that kind of thing. And if I just press the home button again there, we've also got a little onboard calculator, which is literally just a calculator, and also a trip counter. So in this one here, we can reset it to when you're starting a new project, basically, so you know exactly how many stitches you have been doing on a particular quilt. If you press home, it just takes you back to that stitching screen. So another point about needles and feet on these models is brilliantly you can actually use standard needles. They do take that kind of fitting. We do recommend the Bernina Pro needles, and they come in various sizes as well, but that's definitely what we recommend for the high-speed quilting machines. The feet, it's brilliant. So all Bernina feet, actually free motion feet, actually fit onto these models. They are supplied with a standard foot number 9, and then you can any ones you already have in your stash, or ones will go onto domestic machines as well. So that's a really good range. You've got gliding cup feet, you've got ruler feet. There is obviously ruler base available as well for this to enable you to use rulers. We've got so many different types. So couching inserts, echo quilting clips. There is a really lovely range of items available. So yeah, the Q24 on the Pro Aluminium frame is definitely top of the range.